Welcome to the Women Writing Intentionally show with Jenny Alberti and Tracey Rampling Brown. Join us as we talk all things writing and publishing, from insider secrets to our own author journeys. Jenny and Tracey are committed to providing a safe platform for women to share their stories, knowledge, and truth without fear of judgment, criticism, or betrayal. By coming together in a genuine spirit of collaboration, we provide opportunities for growth, healing, and transformation that benefit all women, authors and readers alike. Our vision is to help our authors intentionally build an aligned legacy and portfolio that supports their mission as a woman, human being, and business owner.
What is going on, everybody? My name is Jenny Alberti, and I am the CEO of Introvert She Wrote Publishing, the co-founder of the Women Writing Intentionally Collective. And I just wanted to tell you a little bit about me and a little bit about my background and why I started my publishing company and why I decided to collaborate with Tracey. So I'm an introvert. Super introverted, and like as introverted as you could get on this Myers-Briggs spectrum. And I've always had a love for writing and reading. And I had a dream as a child of, actually, this is what I was going to do. I was going to be like Jessica Fletcher on Murder, She Wrote, and I was going to travel around the world, and I was going to be somewhere in Dublin, Ireland, writing like manuscripts for a living. And then like the real world happened, and I had to get a real job and pay bills and put a roof over my head. So that dream kind of died until it didn't, until I was in this coaching space and online, and a mastermind coach actually told me that if I didn't do these kind of bro marketing tactics and be really gregarious and in people's faces all the time, that I wasn't going to have a successful business. I decided that I needed to do things my way. And I really turned back to my love of writing in order to market. And so I became a published author in 2021, a best-selling author with Tracey in the same book. And then everything kind of started evolving from there. And I decided that this not only was the path for me, but it was really the path for other introverted women that had this love of writing and also didn't want to be in people's faces and be louder than the next person in order to get attention and to be successful. So that is what led me to start Introvert She Wrote Publishing. And then I decided, hey, things are a lot better when you collaborate with other amazing women. And I just happened to find one. So I decided to collaborate with her.
Awesome. That is actually one of my favorite things, is that we really got to start this journey together way back, more than 12 months ago now, really embarking on our author journey together as newbies. And it has been such a wild ride this last 12 months as we've both pivoted and changed in our businesses and our focus, but we've actually really come back together and decided that what was aligned for us was actually an opportunity for us to walk together hand in hand. And so for those of you who might not know who I am, my name is Tracey Rampling Brown. I am the CEO and founder of Gemini Moon Press. I am a 4-time international best-selling author, and I'm also a lunar business strategist. So for me, writing has been something that I have loved doing right back all the way since primary school and high school. One of my besties and I used to sit and dream up all the ways, doing research in the very early days of the internet about how we could become published authors and what the minimum requirements were to write books, and looking into, well, maybe we could write Mills and Boon stories, because that would be an easy way to become an author, because you only had to write like 20,000 words, and which funnily enough, we never actually did that, but my girlfriend did go on to become a fiction writer, and I really just kept dabbling in. I did a bit of poetry that I got published through uni in some of the uni magazines and things like that. But again, a bit like Jenny, it fell by the wayside as I entered the workforce and had my kids, and really just didn't have time to focus on myself. And through the going back to work once my kids were older, and then ending up relocating overseas and going through the pandemic, opened up this opportunity for me to really reconnect with who I wanted to be and what I wanted to do with my life, which probably also came with kids getting older. And writing was one of those things that went back on my vision board. And it took until last year when this opportunity to co-author a book with Jenny came up for me to finally step up and say, yes, this is for me. And it has absolutely transformed my business. It has transformed my life. I had already been doing back-end publishing support for a publisher. I had been doing ghostwriting throughout the beginning of the pandemic for other entrepreneurs, and stepping up into publishing and starting my own publishing house was just a natural next step for that. So my personal mission, so Jenny focuses on introverted women business owners, and my focus is really for those spiritual witchy women who are the safekeepers of knowledge and wisdom that really we need to be sharing. So I'm all about the women's wisdom. I'm all about the woo. And I love that Jenny and I kind of balance each other out.
We do. You talk more, I listen more.
Yeah. So it's funny because Jenny mentioned earlier about Myers-Briggs, and we have basically the exact same personality type, except that she's the introvert and I'm the extrovert. So we are very much, you should see our private conversations, because we're like, oh my God,
I don't think they should.
No, it might be dangerous. But anyway, we are here today to share a little bit with you about why we decided to start the Women Writing Intentionally Collective. So we are not just here on the show with you guys, we have a brand new Facebook group called the Women Writing Intentionally Collective, which is an incredible community of women who write and women who support women who write. So we have editors, we have designers, we have illustrators, we have all kinds of different women who are in the collective with us. And it is so exciting to be able to bring all of these women together under a shared banner and a shared goal. And this mission it all started out of a conversation that Jenny and I had about life events, really, didn't it?
Yeah, we kind of bonded over, well, a couple of things, certain things that were taking place.
Shared trauma.
Yeah. And also the, the reconnection to, like our ancestral lands. And so that's something that is going to take place too. We're going to do a collaboration on that, but we just, we were able to bond on some pretty important topics that aren't just important to us, but are important to many women. And so collaborating and bringing those important conversations to the forefront and giving women a platform to, to really talk about and heal, and also inspire and uplift others that are going through that same thing or who have gone through that same thing. It feels so aligned, and it feels like an honor to be able to do that. So, yeah.
Yeah, one of the things that I found going through this writing journey and becoming authors was how much we go into this journey thinking that we're going to tell a story for the reader, that we're going to share a little piece of ourselves, but from like a teaching perspective, that we're going to be sharing our knowledge and our wisdom. And what actually happens is that as we curate the words, as we relive these past experiences and the journey that led us to where we're going, that it is profoundly healing and transformational in ways that no one could actually foresee. And time again, it didn't matter which authors I was working with or which publishers I was working with or how it was all coming together. The journey and the experiences that everyone was having was actually the real gift. And being able to hold space for other women to go through these kinds of transformations and have this opportunity to do it in a way where they feel safe and held and seen and heard and understood is beyond words. Absolutely beyond words. And
there's kind of this, when we read, at least when I read, nonfiction books, self-help books, transformation books, there's this feeling of, that was really helpful, that, kind of changed my life. Just to kind of say, one of the books that made me really feel seen was Susan Cain's Quiet, which is a book all about introverts. And I felt seen and understood. And at the same time, I felt very inspired. But it always feels like that the authors are just like these like untouchable kind of human beings that are able to, create something like this. And the ability for us to be able to bring that opportunity, like, to women to be able to become published authors and provide other people that same kind of experience of being seen and understood and inspired. It's just like you said, it's kind of beyond words, because I know that whenever I would read books like that, I'm like, wow, this is just so incredible. But not only are you and I participating in being able to do that, but we're providing the opportunity as well. So that really feels like this is what I'm here to do. That's why I'm here.
Absolutely. When I first had the idea that I wanted to launch a publishing house, which actually happened before I even wrote my first chapter in a collaborative book. In fact, this has been something that has been poking at me for about a year and a half now, and I resisted it so hard for so long because having, I'd been writing, I just wasn't writing under my own name. And there was this part of me that was like, well, who are you to actually get into publishing? And why on earth would anyone want to go through that journey with you? And so I kept pushing it off and ignoring it, as we all do, let the imposter syndrome step in. And when the opportunity came up to do the book that we did together, our first book, it was one of those moments where I saw the cover and I saw the title and the subtitle, and I just knew, I was like, this is for me, like, this is my story. And I think when we say yes to sharing our story, there is always that part of us that then comes, like, when we commit to something, you do it when you're on that emotional high, right? You're like, yes, this is for me and I'm going to do this thing. And then you sign up and you sign your name on the dotted line. And then suddenly it's like, oh my God, I've made a huge mistake. If you're a big fan of Arrested Development, it's like, Job, I've made a huge mistake. And it's the imposter syndrome that comes in and you're like, what am I doing? Who is going to listen to my story? Why are they going to listen to me? I've got nothing to say. I've got nothing useful to add. I'm too new at this. I'm not experienced enough. And every single author feels that way. And I've been lucky enough now, I've worked with, through the collaborative books I've done over the past year, I've worked with nearly 50 incredible international best-selling authors. And without fail, almost every single one of them has voiced this exact same thought and fear. And the ones who haven't voiced it were probably feeling it and just didn't actually feel confident enough to say it. And I was actually on a call with some of the girls from the Women Writing Intentionally Collective from our free community today in our writers circle. And one of the girls actually dropped in the chat while we were doing our silent writing time about how she really loved that we were holding this space where she could share her story, but also to feel like she wasn't alone in the process. And what was beautiful was that the other women in the session all came with this beautiful support for her about not being alone, or that also sharing her story was lighting the way for other women who are feeling alone but who need to read what she has to share. And that is something that I think we underestimate always about the stories that we have and our own experiences. We think that nothing we do is extraordinary because it's just the things that we do. They're the things we do every day. What's special about that? And we forget that other people haven't necessarily had the same experiences that we have. They haven't lived the same lives we have. They haven't been exposed to the same situations. And they haven't necessarily had the opportunity to learn the lessons or be given the gifts or overcome the challenges and hurdles that we have. And the way that we confront those things, the way that we work through those things, the lessons that we take from those things are the pieces that inspire other people.
Yeah, and it can be incredibly lonely being, in this position of, first of all, being vulnerable, and then you have some sort of imposter syndrome on top of it. And you're really processing and dealing with your own experiences and your own feelings and emotions as you write. And kind of being an author and being a writer is a little bit of a lonely thing, which is why, I mean, introverts are kind of good at writing, is like we like to be alone, like we like that. But at the same time, don't get me wrong, like we still need support, right? And so that's one of the beautiful things about, this community that we are creating and building, is that it is just that. It's a place where you can go for support and you cannot feel alone. And it doesn't have to be so scary, and you don't have to be isolated all the time. You could come here and you could pop in and you could go to co-working sessions and, yeah, it's just not, it doesn't have to be a lonely thing. And I'm happy and I'm glad and honored that we are creating that space for women to be able to come and be supported and yeah, not have to go at it themselves to work through all of those emotions and the imposter syndrome, or just for feedback, just dropping some feedback in there and having someone to bounce ideas off of. So yeah, it's something that I'm really excited to see how far it goes and how many people we can support in just the community aspect alone.
And I think the thing that's really important to emphasize here is that the community that we're building isn't only put together from people who are in our individual publishing house author containers. It's not just women who choose to work with us in paid capacities or anything like that. It's any woman who is a writer is welcome in our group. Any woman who owns or runs a business or works in an industry that supports women who write is welcome in our group. And it's an opportunity for whether you are planning to self-publish your book on your own, whether you are planning to pitch your proposal to a traditional publisher, whether you are collaborating with somebody else, that you're welcome in our space, because this isn't just about us and our own personal missions. It's about what we want to see happening and changing in the world, and providing that support, no holds barred, no secrets, like complete transparency about how you can get your book out there and how you can leverage it and monetize it and publish it, and all of the things that most people gatekeep when it comes to information, because they'll give you just enough or they'll tell you the what, but they don't tell you the how. And we're not afraid to put that out there. We're not afraid to tell you exactly how we do things so you can go off and do it yourself, because the people that want to work with us are choosing to work with us for different reasons, right? It's not because they couldn't go and do it themselves. It's because they are coming to work with us because they feel deep within them that the mission that we have is so perfectly aligned for them, and they want the other intangible things that we're offering, or the one-to-one support that we're offering. But we're not going to hide the truth and the nitty-gritty, and we have some amazing plans up our sleeves for what we want to do in terms of this show, and bringing in some incredible experts to share those industry secrets with you, to inspire you, to bring authors on here to talk about their journeys and how they've published their books and what their books are about, no matter how they've published them, because we want this community to not just be tied just to our Facebook group, which is amazing, and we love having a Facebook community, but the show is bigger than just Facebook, right? The show is here for you on whatever platform you're on, whether you're watching this on LinkedIn, whether you're on YouTube, whether you're on Facebook, whether you're listening to this as a podcast. It really doesn't matter. You can be part of our world. You can be learning all of these things, and you can be consuming this content however it works best for you.
Tracey, I have a question.
Yes. What's your
I want to
question?
know. I want you to tell me and everybody else, like, what is one thing that you want to change or revolutionize about the publishing industry? Just one. I know it's a long list.
Okay. You asked this because you know exactly what my answer is going to be, don't you? My biggest
What I
thing,
think you're going to say.
my biggest thing that I want to revolutionize in the indie publishing industry is paying authors royalties in multi-author collaborative books. I know why the popular model doesn't do it, and I understand that. And admittedly, I do have a degree in accounting, so I'm not afraid of numbers. But I believe that even if you are choosing fee-for-service publishing, which is basically how hybrid indie publishing works, that authors deserve to be paid.
Boom.
Was that the answer you were expecting?
Mic drop. Yes, it was.
Yeah.
It was. And I'm so glad that you said that.
And that's the hill I'm going to die on.
For me,
yeah, be honest. Like, come on. Yeah, I was just about to. Like, so what is your revolution that you want to start in the publishing industry, Jenny?
For me, I really want it to be okay for people to want to monetize their book, to actually grow their business with their book, and to not feel as though that they shouldn't. Like, that they should only make money through royalties. But actually take control of where their books are, where they're sold, how they're sold, and then actually use it to grow their business, to get clients, to grow their audience, to grow their platform. And I want them to be taught that. And I want them to be empowered to do so, rather than kind of what we see is, become bestseller and cool. Like, you're a best-selling author. Have a nice day. Right? Like, there's so much more. That's just the beginning, right? It's just the beginning, and it's just about becoming published, right? But then what are you going to go do because of that? Because that is the beginning of this lifelong asset that you now have. So I want there to be, not using this, well, it's more so about getting the story out there, which, yes, that's important, but let's not just pretend that that is the only reason why you've created a book. Like, there are so many people that want this to be how they pay their bills, how they they don't want to work. They want to write as their job, as their career. And so teaching people how to monetize it is an important thing. So that is what I personally want to see more of.
I love that. And I think, especially for women, this is such an important topic because there is so much shame
Mhm,
around women
mhm.
wanting to make
Make money.
money from their
Yep,
gifts. And
yep.
we are touching on this in our Wounded Women series that we have coming up, which is a collaborative book series that we're putting together, because the healer wound is strong in women. It's not okay for us to charge for our gifts, for our services, for our worth, that we shouldn't be more than we are, right? That we need to conform, or that we need to do it in the way that we're told. We have to follow this thing. We have to wait in line. We have to earn our dues. We have
Mhm.
to do it in a certain formula or algorithm. Otherwise, it's not going to be okay for us to make money. And it's all bullshit.
Agreed.
So, yes, come hang out with us if you want to learn about monetizing your book and making money, whether it's through royalties and whether you want to monetize your book by actually taking control of how and where it's being sold, and how you can attract your ideal clients into your business, products, services, whatever it is that you have that you're offering on the back end of your book. Like when people read, and whether it is because you're in a collaborative book program, whether it is because you are writing a whole manuscript and a whole book on your own and launching something that is about your signature system or your personal story, or whether you are a fiction author or a poet or a children's book author, it really doesn't matter.
Mm-mm.
Learning the skill set of learning how to monetize it and how to use those things is the same. And we're here for it. Like, we're here to talk about the money.
Mhm.
So, ladies, if you've got any questions at any stage, please do feel free. Drop them in the comments, no matter which platform you're on, and we will do our best to make sure that we are answering those. Um, we're here to chat and have fun, but we're also here to make sure that we're giving you the value that you deserve. So, what can you expect from us coming up next week, Jenny? What can they expect?
That's a great question. I don't think we've thought that far ahead. We're going to be giving tips, and we're going to be dropping lots of value bombs at all times. We're going to tell things like they are. Neither you nor I really sugarcoat things, right?
Yeah.
So they can expect the truth.
We actually we did actually write a list. It's just so far back in our
Right.
our 10,000 conversations in our chat that we probably should have pasted them into a Word document, which is why we have ClickUp, but we never transfer anything into it. But we're going to get better with that. And we do actually have a plan for some of the things that we want to talk about, because things that have come up for us as women have joined the Women Writing Intentionally collective, the things that people want to know are specifically how they can, print their books using self-publishing methods, like how they can actually get their books out there, how they can market them, how they can leverage them, how they can focus their time, how they can monetize their books, how they can develop better writing skills, how to know where to even start. And so how to find ARC readers. What even is an ARC reader? What does that mean? How do I do bestseller launches? How do I find time to write? How do I get it out of my head and onto the page? So we do have lots and lots and lots of content that we want to share with you. And we are looking forward to bringing that to you guys. So if there are specific topics you want us to cover, do make sure that you are joining us in the Women Writing Intentionally Collective Facebook group, so that you can let us know what it is that you want to learn, what you want us to cover in these episodes and in the trainings that we're offering in the group. We do offer writers circles, opportunities for you to come and do like co-working sessions and do writing sprints to actually keep you accountable. We are going to hold another networking opportunity, which we did when we launched the group back on the 8th of August for the Lionsgate portal. We had a launch party and it was amazing, and it was super fun having everybody all just jump on a Zoom call and get to meet each other and talk. So we're going to be holding one of those every month. So we'll be doing one in September. And then we're also going to be having some guest experts come here on the show, but we'll also be having guest experts coming into the group and sharing their knowledge and their wisdom through masterclasses or Facebook Lives and presentations like that. So if you want to be a part of our community, please just give it a Google Women Writing Intentionally Collective on Facebook, and you can find us there, and we would love to have you in our circle. Jenny, is there anything else?
Did you answer what we're talking about next week? No.
I gave a whole list of all the things we're going to be talking about next week. But you know what? Let's dive straight into the money thing, and we'll start talking about ways you can monetize your book, because let's face it, that is the juicy stuff that everybody wants to know, and that everybody feels like they are, being told they're going to be, like I have been in a number of containers where people talk about, we're going to teach you how to monetize your book. And it doesn't always deliver on the exact, this is what you do and this is how you do it. In some of the containers, I've just been given a nice little list about like, post your book on Facebook every Wednesday and tell people about it, like post the link to Amazon. Well, that's not necessarily going to make you money in your business, just posting the link to Amazon. So Jenny is going to share with you her secrets to how she made $17,500 off the back of launching her first book in October last year. So that's what we're going to be talking about next week. We are going to be diving straight into the juicy stuff.
All right.
Sound good?
Sounds good to me. It's been decided.
It has. Okay. We are going to wrap it up there, because we understand that your time is super valuable and we want to keep you guys excited and wanting more. So we're not here to keep you for 2 hours, wondering when we're going to get to the good stuff. We're going to keep these short, sweet, and sassy So if you enjoyed watching this, if you're catching it on the replay, whichever platform you're on, you can hashtag replay if you'd like. You can tag one of us in the post with your comments to make sure that we see them and we can respond to them. Or you can email us and let us know at collective@womenwritingintentionally.com. Send us an email and let us know what you think of the show.
Congratulations on your first episode, Tracey.
And congratulations to you too, Jen. Thanks for being here with me. Thanks for being my ride or die.
Absolutely. Thanks to everybody else too for hanging with us on our first very raw episode. We'll get better at it.
I know. There were like at least 6 of you. I'm just saying. Thank you so much. We see all of you.
6 people.
And have an amazing evening. Thank you so much. And we'll be back here same time next week, Monday at 2 p.m. 2 p.m. Pacific, 11 p.m. Central Europe, and 7 a.m. Australian Eastern Standard Time. So thank you so much, and bye.
Bye.